One of my all-time favourite films is a Japanese film. It's a classic now. It's called The Seven Samurai, and I mention it only because of where we are. We're at a watermill, and in the film, Kurosawa makes the watermill the home of the village elder, the wisest man in the village. I guess what he was doing was he was symbolically linking the two to say that a watermill is like wisdom. It's timeless. It's based on fundamental principles, that it weathers changes, that like the flow of the river, you can always count on it. There's been a watermill here actually since about 1100. And it's as a homage to that film that I wanted to interview Peter Basnett here, because he's got that wisdom, he's got that experience, and he's going to tell us about why contracting's a way of life, why he's made it a principle for him. Not the tool of contracting or the technique of contracting, but about those timeless principles behind contracting. Peter, thanks for coming down and seeing us here. It's a bit of a different location perhaps for yourself.
Certainly is.
Tell us about this idea of getting your fundamentals right.
Where we are right now, this is a mill. And the principle involved in milling is taking a cereal crop, corn or wheat or something like that, and pulverizing it. Now the method that was developed here in the early Norman times evolved from a Roman process. All this stuff you see here, and it was powered by water. Now the principle's still the same, but what's happened over time, the technology's evolved, the method's changed. Water was superseded by steam, and I understand at some point in its history this mill was steam powered. And then of course electricity came along, and then factory processing, but you're still actually pulverizing cereal. Principles don't change. Methods do, but principles never do. And I think that if you understand the principle of how something works, you'll do a better job than if you just understand a method. Always do what's right for your customer, because in the long term it's going to be right for you. People get too short-term driven, and I think you've got to take a long-term view, much longer-term view.
Can you give us a little bit of a pocket history of who Peter is?
Somebody once asked me, did I start my life as a humble salesman? Well, no, I didn't. I was never a humble salesman. I was extremely arrogant. No, I'm joking. But I was an office machinery mechanic, and found that I could sell office machinery more successfully than the salespeople could. Essentially, I think because I was more believable. I could show people that their existing machinery was either outdated or worn or whatever, and they would trust me. And I found that over time, that trust thing in business is just absolutely essential. The only way that you can become trusted is to be trustworthy. I don't have time to be trying to remember what I might have told somebody. I know what I've told them. I told them the truth. I'm not got that good a memory to remember what I told somebody unless it was true. So eventually, when I was in my mid-20s, I went into the insurance business, I should say. I was a branch manager for 11 years, and during that time, I was either first or second in the company trophy 11 times out of 11. And that was based upon all of the quality measures, based upon earnings per capita, production per capita, retention of manpower, that's critical. Retention of business, because there's a correlation between the two. I had the best retention record in the business. That's not immodest. I hope it doesn't sound immodest. It's just a statement of what is. And when I left Sheffield after 11 years, I left 35 people with more than 10 years service. That's what the whole success was based on. Selecting the right people, making sure that they had a clear understanding of what was required, backing them to the hilt, and making sure that they stayed doing what needs to be done every day. When the company wouldn't advance money to a salesman, I paid him out of my own pocket and said, I've got faith in you. You get trusted that way.
I think a lot of people say win-win,
yeah,
but they don't mean it. But it seems like you've really lived that.
My favourite story about that is the boss who takes a newly recruited member of staff and takes him in his car up a hill, looking down a valley over a beautiful lake, And down on the lake, they can see a superb house with a dock in front of it and a new boat there and an Aston Martin in the driveway. And the boss turned to the new fella and he said to him, I want you to know, with hard work and effort on your part, a great deal of effort, one day all that will be mine. Yeah? And an awful lot of people think like that. You turn that round and say, look, I'm going to show you 2 houses down there, and if we both work hard at it, we have one each. My whole style has been a cooperative, get alongside style, work with people. There's got to be something in it for them. There's not very much taste in nothing, but equally there's got to be something in it for me. It's not dependency, it's not independency, it's interdependency. And I believe you can achieve anything you want to achieve, provided you don't care who gets the credit.